Welcome to the Yoga in Black podcast. My name is Tori, and I am the creator and host of this show. Really, the purpose of this is to shine a bright light on Black yoga instructors to help create safe places for our community to practice because we deserve it just as much as anybody else. Each episode, I bring you a new yoga instructor or wellness professional to share their story so you get a chance to know who they are, find where they are offering their classes, and experience all of the magic that they bring within this practice, whether it's yoga, whether it's something else. As long as it's holistic, we're all about it. So keep watching, keep listening, and I hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for being here. We've made it to the end of another season, and I am astounded. But I couldn't be more excited to end this season with this next guest, Victoria Mahe, because it takes a really special type of person to be at the helm of building a community, sustaining it, and letting it grow. We had a lot in common when it comes to that, but I wanted to know more about her story and the things that she experiences going through this entrepreneurial venture with the platform that she's created called Mind Your Mat. And here in the Dallas area, yoga can be quite pricey. And she saw the need that we needed community-based yoga to provide this practice to people in a much more accessible way, because that's not always the case here. So I am extremely proud of what she has created, what it has grown into, and I am so excited to see what it continues to grow into. So without me talking any further, I want you guys to meet this fabulous, fabulous woman by the name of Victoria Mahe for this final episode of season 3. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I hope you have fun. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the final episode of this season of the Yoga in Black podcast, and I am so excited to be here with Victoria Mahe. Oh my God, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Thank God, because I completely forgot to ask you.
No, but you did it. A lot of people don't get it right, so I appreciate it.
Yes, I'm big on that. Like with a name like Tyranny, a lot happens. But yes, hailing from across the pond in Hawaii and now here in Texas, I am dying to know your story. So get us started. Tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll start chatting.
Awesome. So Victoria, I am the founder and teacher at Mind Your Mat Co. We are a collective of teachers, a community that kind of came together to be able to bring yoga and actually share a practice. And it's totally evolved into something so big and great that like I had no idea when I started that it would be this. Originally from the South Bay, Redondo Beach in LA, and then went to school in Hawaii, then came to Texas and been here for 5 years. And it's been such a journey to be in Dallas. And like, I did not think that I'd be actually wanting to stay and like being this place. And it's so cool. So I'm excited.
I feel that because I battle that every day. It's like, have I overstayed my welcome in Dallas? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it still feels right, but part of me is still like, I don't know, maybe explore somewhere else too. Because there's so many places to be. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. But something about this place is still drawing me in. It's weird. It's really weird.
I remember when I first moved here, someone told me, they were like, Dallas is a place where you live and you go visit other places. You don't visit Dallas. And I was like, okay. And I really have experienced, like, I live here because where I live is like super like clutch. Like my rent is clutch. And I was like, wow, like I'm blessed to be able to live here and actually have money to go and travel and like do other things and experience other places. And I was like, okay, in
Yeah.
LA, if I lived in LA, I'd be like working to survive. And this would not like my passion project would have never came off. My Mat would have never able to happen in
Yeah.
LA. So yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy where life will take you, and it always puts you in the place that you're supposed to be, regardless of if you like it or not.
Yeah. Oh
I love
man.
it though.
It's
So,
such a roller coaster.
oh, big time. So tell me everything from the beginning, like especially when it comes to yoga and how it entered your life. What got you started in the practice?
So I'd always kind of done classes here and there uh, throughout like high school and college, and then when COVID hit, I was kind of like at that my heaviest point, and I was like, what can I do in my house that I'm not gonna get super sweaty because it's like in this small space, like I have a small amount of space, and like I don't want to get super sweaty. And I was like, okay, like I started this 30-day challenge with a bunch of friends on Zoom. Like it was me and like a bunch of friends, and we all were on Zoom, like just doing these classes together. It was a 30-day challenge. And then all of a sudden, like we like kind of took it to like do it together. And then from there, like once the doors started opening, like I started going to more classes, and I really like had a pivotal moment because I have like a background where like things just I made a lot of bad decisions, and I was like, what can I do to like just kind of look in with myself and make good decisions? And yoga was like the best thing that ever happened to me. It made me really understand that like I can only control what's going on in these four corners. When I'm on this mat, that's 60 minutes to myself. My brain is off. I am breathing. Like I don't take time to breathe. But my brain's always,
Hmm.
like always thinking of things. And so that was like the one time I was like, wow, like my brain is just present. There's only
Yeah.
two, like so many things that can like actually make me do that. And yoga was one. And so like once I realized that for myself, I was like, wow, how can I share this with people? People don't realize that this is like this is a thing, like
Yeah.
people are like taking medicine and like doing all these other things to where it's like, yo, if you just breathe and like you can practice this throughout your life, like just do I really have to give into this right now? No.
Oof.
Fall out. If you fall, you get back up, right? If you do
Exactly.
a pose, you're like, oh damn, fuck it, I'm just out. Oh, sorry, I don't know if
Oh,
I
no.
can.
Keep it going. Keep it
Okay.
going.
Okay. I was like, I don't know if you could do that here. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
No, I agree completely. I had a lot of the similar experience where yoga was the first time in my life that my mind was actually tolerable, manageable.
Yeah.
Because I'm very similar, where it's constantly thinking, processing, coming up with ideas, or just rehashing stuff. And it's like, when do I ever get a chance to just chill? And it wasn't until my first class where I had a really authentic experience where I was like, oh, that's what this is. Damn,
Yeah.
I was missing out. And it was the most positive change I've ever made in my life, aside from moving here, because I'm from Iowa, and it was just,
Hmm.
it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It's not for me. Like, I love visiting my family, but I don't know if I could ever live there again.
I had a friend who lived there, went back and forth multiple times. It was like she loved it, but she also didn't love it. It was like a
Yeah.
love hate relationship.
You
Yeah.
have to be in a certain space of life to really feel like it's cool to stay there. Because, like, if you're, family oriented and all that stuff, and I mean, like, you're procreating and stuff, great spot for it. Great spot for
Yeah.
that. I'm not that person.
Hmm.
And I agree with you completely. Like, I like the fact that I can live here in Dallas. There's plenty to do if I want to, but
Hmm.
I also have the ability to go wherever I want if
Yeah.
that's what I'm wanting to do. Because there's airports all over the place. I think the closest international airport to my hometown, both ways, east and west, is 3 hours.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Oh no. No. No.
like flying home is very interesting, which is why I usually drive, and that's insanity
Oh
in
wow.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No,
But
I my dad works at LAX. So I
whoo, nice.
my family's all been like LAX, so like yeah, no, I could not imagine not living close to an airport or like oh man.
It's a pain. It is a big
Yeah,
pain,
I hate
man.
driving is the only thing.
So then I want to go back to the yoga because I'm famous for getting completely off topic. But you had made mention of how you had the idea that you wanted to share this awesomeness with others. When you had that shift, did it look like for you to find a program to further your understanding of yoga and take that teacher training?
So I was big at Black Swan and had mentors that I like loved and just the way that they taught, the way that they were able to portray this love and connection for yoga. And one of my mentors, Shayla, like she was just like, you know, she was teaching it and I was like, oh, what? Like I get to learn from you. Like I already learned from you in the class. I learned from her on and off the mat. So I was like, and then I get
Yeah.
to learn from you like in this space. Like, okay, like it was not an easy ride, like going through that YTT because I'd heard different things. And like when I went through it, I originally like decided like I wasn't going to do it. And like I had some like uh, imposter syndrome like came through and she called me and she was like, yo, no, you said that you were going to teach people and share this practice by December 2021. And like that's when we graduated. She was like, I'm going to get you a scholarship and you're coming back. And I was like, okay,
Well, all right then.
like I will see you next weekend. Like, okay, like, and that's why like I taught that class. Like I taught like in December 2021, right when we graduated. And then Mind Your Mat is actually named. The reason why we call it Mind Your Mat is because one of our teachers, his name's Keith. He actually like, uh, I was on my mat one day and he was like, noticed that I was looking at other people and like I wasn't minding my practice. And he
Hmm.
goes, mind your mat, stay in your lane. And I was like, I can only
Yeah.
control here, right now, me, you. No, this is a judgment free. Don't look at anybody else. Who cares what they're doing? What are you doing?
Yes.
And so like that's where we got the name from. And like he happened to pass right before we graduated. So it was like Mind Your Mat's like been a tribute to like just the eccentric, like opening ourselves to the community and sharing our
Yeah.
practice. And like that's what he was big on doing. So
Man,
it was
shout out
like,
to Keith.
yeah, getting here's been a fun journey.
Oh yeah. That is so beautiful. I as soon as I had heard about what you were starting and heard that it was called Mind Your Mat, I'm like, I'm glad somebody's got something that's named this because folks really need to do that. Because it's a famous saying that I've heard a lot too, where it's like stop being looking around and just mind your space.
Yeah,
Only the space that you occupy. That's your little magic carpet for the day. Stay there
yeah,
and don't worry about what everybody else is doing because they can't control your stuff. You can't control their stuff. So why are you looking?
yeah.
So I
And
think
it's
that's
not serious. Like
yes,
it's not that serious. Like this is a playground. You have this small space. You don't need so much. You don't need so much to do. It's you have this, several inches to be like whoever you want to be. You want to fall, you
yes.
want to play, you want to be serious, you want to be upset, you want to cry.
Take a
You
nap,
have
whatever
everything,
you want to
everything. Yeah, yeah.
do.
You want to F this. I don't want to be on this thing anymore. I've had so many people. I'm just like, hey, if you don't like what I'm saying, just just
Just lay down.
work it
It's
out, let
okay.
it out, do your thing. If you don't like it, throw
Oh
it in the
my
garbage.
gosh. So tell me more about the beginnings of Mind Your Met and what that behind the scenes work looked like.
Yeah. So, Mind Your Mat was really brought up by everybody that I graduated with in my cohort. Um, a bunch of us went and looked at this like rental space that I had a friend. She worked at a studio, and they had a photography space that was located in Southside of Lamar.
Oh
And she
yeah.
was like, they'll let you have it for $100 a night once a week. And we're like, okay. I was like, it's a beautiful location. People know that building. Like, I love that. Um, and then a bunch of us went and looked at it. And then we started like building together. Like, one of our teachers, one of my friends, Laura, she did the graphics. She made like the flyers for Mind Your Mat. She made the logo. The original logo was like a Southside of Lamar, like skyline.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Brendan, he did all the like operation things. Like, people have always come in from any part of everybody taught in the classes once a week, and the donations we got went towards paying the rent. Like, that
Right.
was really it. And at some point we were like, at least gas. So we started paying our teachers, and that's what we've been kind of doing, is like paying for space, paying our teachers, making sure that we're actually like, you know, it turned into like going from just us wanting to teach to like,
Yeah.
this is actually a platform for like new teachers. Like, people who come in, they get their experience, and then they're able to kind of like
Yes.
go somewhere else or stay with us.
I absolutely have loved that from the beginning. Because it's needed. Too often people will crank out teachers in their programs but never have space to hire them, meaning they're
Yeah.
not getting any experience for real, depending on how the curriculum goes, because for the most part there are practice teaching hours
Yeah.
for a majority of the YTTs that I've heard of or even been involved in. And even still, those practice teaching hours while you're in training or even after training to complete the program or whatever, it's
Yeah.
different when you're doing it for real. Like, I'm done now. This is the program's over. I don't necessarily have my teachers or my mentors as much as I used to. That hand being held kind of let go a little bit. Shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
studios don't always like to bank on the new instructor. And it's
Yeah.
sad, but it's a really untapped market to be able to provide something for new instructors to not only just get the experience, but to diversify the experience levels in your own studio space. Because after practice or after teaching for a while, I've seen it happen where some can get a little
Mm-hmm.
cocky and
Yeah.
get a little bit on a plateau. Bring somebody in that's new and excited about it,
Yes.
and you've got new ideas and eager and stuff. Like, oh, that's so great. But I'm glad that there's your platform here that allows for that to happen. As I can only imagine that it's just going to be completely innovative all the time because of all of the fresh faces and the fresh energy that's always circulating in the space.
Yeah, that's actually like, we now that like I am full-time Mind Your Mat, and we've had meetings, and like my team has literally come together and been like, okay, like, this is what we want to see. This is what we can do. This is how we can get, more people coming in, and on these days that are slower, like, how can we actually like build out the community? What events do we want to host? What workshops do we want to do? Our team, there's five of us that are now signed up for an 300-hour online. So
Yeah.
like, us all together are about to get our 300 hours. So like, and like actually do this as an accountability and team. I'm like, where, what other like studios are like having full people doing it together?
Right.
Like, and we've got it at a dis like the universe works in mysterious ways, because it was half price for us to be able to do it. And like, I've know other people that have gotten their 300 hours from this online, and like, but us doing it together really, I think, is going to like be something different, where I'm like, this community that we're cultivating, like, it's more than just going to a yoga studio, doing your, the asanas and the poses, and then being like, okay, I'm out, I gotta go, run and do this. Like, some people actually want to like build community and build this like space with like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a judgment-free zone where they see themselves in the teachers, they see themselves on the mats, because it's a lot of beginners.
Yes.
Like, we are a donation based, a lot of people see us on Eventbrite versus like Mind Body. So like they're really coming in off of like, I just see that this is, now we're
Yeah.
yoga on tap, and like yoga through time in like the different like spaces. So it's such a interesting thing to see, to like yoga's off the mat too.
Oh yeah. I know. I love that about the community that you're building, because it always feels like it's someone's first time and they're having such a great time. And because that's not always the case for a lot of folks,
Yeah.
especially us, that aren't necessarily feeling welcome in a lot of studio spaces, to see other people that look like you having this first time experience and enjoying it changes the game.
Yeah.
Changes the game completely. If I had had that first experience, gosh, because technically my first experience was in high school, but
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
I grew up in Iowa.
Yeah.
You can imagine what that demographic looked like. And it's just like,
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy this at all. I don't think this is for me. What is this
Yeah.
anyway? Like, I'm equivalent or making it the equivalent of like a Richard Simmons kind of a thing, because that's the other thing that we did if it wasn't the yoga DVDs.
Yeah.
I just
Okay.
aged
Yeah.
myself so hard.
No, like being on the mat, you're like, okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay, I remember
Yeah,
that. Like
it was
going to those
definitely
classes.
it was a gym requirement. I'm like, okay, whatever. Get me through this class, I guess. But
Yeah.
oh, but even still, as I got older, all of my experiences were in spaces where I'm like, damn, just me again. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm okay. I don't look like any of you. And
Mm-mm.
okay, we're just gonna, yep. They're all older than me. Like I was always in like things where they were older than me and didn't look like me. And I was like, okay, so we'll
Yes.
just play by ourselves, do it ourselves, like make it ourselves. It's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna be in my little area minding my mat.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
it. Cause
Yeah.
I'm not worried about what you're doing over there, and you might be a little too worried about what I'm doing over here.
Yeah.
There's a wall now. But that doesn't happen at Mind Your Mat. So I've been to a few of your classes, and
Yeah.
I enjoy it every time. The park that you're at is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's like stepping into a freaking time machine. Because I saw the buildings and I'm like, okay, yeah. But then when I saw someone that works there dressed in the garb, I was like, wait a minute, am I not dressed
Yeah.
properly?
I,
Like, for a second, I was like, shit, is this cosplay yoga? Because I'll do that.
oh my God, they would love that. That'd be so much fun. Oh my goodness. Another idea. Look, it's there's so much you can play with in this space. Like that's why I love like this. We're kind of like, I like to token us as like a mobile yoga studio, because we
Yes.
do teach in different places, and like we pop up at like different like events. So I was like, but kind of having like us doing it in the park with like little outfits. Oh my goodness, that'd be so much fun. That I know, my girlfriend yesterday at our we had our second pop-up and flow yesterday,
Yeah.
and she was like, she had a sports bra and she goes, I don't know if I can walk around in these like buildings because I don't have a sweater on. Like, I think I need to like put some clothes on. She's like, I was like, it's fine. It's a park. Like, we just finished yoga. It's fine. She's
You're
like, are you
okay.
sure? I was like,
It's
yeah,
still
but
2023.
but you were, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a beautiful, beautiful space. And like, people always ask like how I got this opportunity with them, with Old City Park. And like, they reached out to me. I was in some Facebook group and I was putting out like, where people like our events and stuff. We
Mhm.
also teach at Four Corners Brewery, which is like across the street. And somehow they happened to come across us through Facebook and Four Corners. And then she reached out and I was like, yes, like we'd absolutely, this pavilion's beautiful. The outside's beautiful. Like, it's they are like, I was like, yes, I just went to a meeting, association meeting, where like I found out they're getting another year of funding, and us
Nice.
bringing people to this park preserves the park, like allows it to get the grants
Yeah.
that it needs, because it needs more people visiting, because it is the oldest park in Dallas. So like
Yeah.
all of the buildings that are brought to that park were brought like slate by slate, brick by brick. And
Oof.
so like it's actually like used to be all the way into downtown, and now that's cut off by the 30. So like they're trying to really bring this area like more, as
Yeah.
attraction, and like bring more money so that they can like preserve the arts within the area as well. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I didn't know that like this place was like a whole thing. Like what? Like
Yeah.
it's so cool like being a part of it now. Like our communities are merging. It's so cool.
That is dope as hell. I did not realize that. Like, and that makes sense too because you guys bring in a lot of people to a space that
Yeah.
I didn't even know existed until y'all
Everyone's
started teaching
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those that aren't aware, Old City Park is an area in Dallas that is essentially, literally, like I said, a time warp back into. I'm not certain what era it is, but it's very. It feels kind of old west a little bit.
Yeah, like old western, maybe like
Yeah,
30s or 40s or something, like
something
40s,
like that.
60s. Like it's a very, yeah, like the old western. They have a saloon. Like
Yeah.
today we took the dogs and got pup cups, but like they have a saloon that has fake beer, and then like there's a old like home that has like a shed. They have donkeys, they have chickens, they have cats. Like it's a whole like
Hmm.
little like town that has just bunch of all different types of buildings that were brought from like different parts of history to preserve, and so
Yeah.
that they're like yeah,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful, beautiful space. And a lot of people are like, we didn't know this was here. And I'm
At
like,
all.
yeah, like it's a hidden gem in Dallas that like needs more attention. So like it's awesome that we can bring that attention to it with yoga.
It's building one hell of a relationship, and I can
Man.
tell that it's going to be one that's going to last for a while because it's a great space. It's so open and can fit so many people. So even if
Yeah.
you've got like big ass events going on or even something a little bit smaller scale, it's still a great space for it. Even the outside parts, you found a
Yeah.
gem. You found a real gem.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
Thank you.
awesome. And I
I'm
love
so
what you
excited.
brought up about the mobile yoga studio thing because that's also an idea that I've had. Um, my thought is decking out this cargo van in all of the logo things, whatever, and filling it with
Hmm.
yoga props, so that way I can just take the van wherever I need to go out into the van, grab your shit, come back inside or outside, wherever the hell we are, and let's have a practice. Because I don't know.
Yes.
I've never wanted to be tied down to a studio if that is
Yeah.
the way that I go. I
Yeah.
like seeing other spaces. I like having the ability to bring yoga to people rather than trying to make them come to me, um, because that's not necessarily accessible for everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't like to be tied down.
No, I've been looking, like it's so funny that you bring that, because I've been looking at like loft spaces. I went back to Southside and was looking to see like what can we do, and they have a beautiful atrium that's like between the second and third
Yeah.
floor that like they're like wanting to bring yoga to, but like looking at like having a location and being tied down to a space, I'm like, there's a lot more to think about. Like I want to be in a very like accessible space, and where I'm looking, there's not good parking, there's not this, and I'm like, okay, like I like the way that my stuff is where it's already set up. Okay. And I just have like bins that are set up. So like having a van that like you can actually like just pull up on, like
Yeah,
you could do that at the beach and at the park. And it's so much
exactly.
easier to just like get it going. And like I do like the idea of them having a van and like them being able to just walk in the park. I see you. Oh, I like that. Yeah, we
Hmm.
have bins and carts. So I'm a little bit still like, I'm not as far advanced into the car
Hey,
yet. I'm in a
look,
cart.
gotta do what we gotta do. I have a suitcase full of blocks that I
Yes.
tote around
Oh my
everywhere.
God. I literally had the same thing.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
My suitcase
Yeah.
and it's a convertible dolly cart thing. and I'll usually keep it in cart mode and just stack all of my stuff on top of it and pull it.
Yep.
So I saw you one day doing that. I'm like, man, we have so much in common.
Yeah. Yo, like I have now we have like one at both locations because I was like at one point I was like I'm taking it back if I was like, wait, no,
Why am I doing this?
efficiency, one at both, like okay, one at both. And then like now I'm realizing as I start like am trying to build my gym out more and like have more of like event type classes on my own, I'm like, oh, I need one of these for me now. Okay, now we have to do this again. Like, okay, the more you go through it, you realize like what you actually like. You're like, oh man, I didn't know. Like, but at the end of the day, like my boyfriend said to me, he's like, it's just yoga, right? Like at the end of the day, all they need is a mat,
And
right?
barely even
And
that.
maybe at that, yeah. And he's like, at that, like they can just do it. Like you just need to be there, and they need to be able to hear you, sort of. Like they could do whatever they wanted, and I was like, yeah, okay. He's like, so why you don't have to do all these big things? You can just show up, and like I'm trying to like understand that too. Like, okay, it doesn't need to be. I don't need a standalone location. Like I can be in Old City Park. I can build. I can do these events, and it's like things that have not been done or like things that are not common in this space like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
like okay.
Um, your boyfriend is wise. Because I have had to have that conversation with myself many times.
Yeah,
Getting too caught up in the particulars and start spiraling through all of the different possibilities of it all. And I'm like, well, okay, hold on, bare bones it. What is the basic thing that is needed? And generally, most people bring their own stuff. So why are you stressing yourself so hard? You can still bring the few things that you need to make sure that you accommodate those that don't have. But relax. It's okay.
yeah,
Build the efficiency for yourself. Like now that you've got, more established spaces, keep some stuff there. It's fine.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. It's fine.
yeah,
But yeah, I love that learning through the process because there's so much that we have the passion and drive for these things. And I'm definitely speaking just me and you right now because I don't want to speak for everybody else, but we have the passion and the drive for these things. So we get real excited. It's like, all right, yes, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I need 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 this. But it's like the bigger picture is you're living the thing. You're doing the thing. And that's what's most important. That's what's really most important. The fact that people will walk in the door, see you and see your other teachers and be like, I'm where I need to be. All that other stuff didn't even matter. Didn't even matter. I mean, it might eventually, but relax.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with that.
It's hard to know. Like I went to a conference, she was talking about your secret sauce, and it's hard to realize like what you have, your secret sauce is literally you. And like people dig that. Like with the French, like they dig that shit, like it's your sauce and they want it. And you're like, wow, like me, like this right here, like me and my teachers, like the fact that like my teacher, one of the teachers, her first classes was teaching with us and then taught a class with 80 people, like through the ability of like these, like what we're doing over here in this community, like the partnerships that we're creating and like the people that we're touching, like 80 people. And like now she's like got opportunities in other places and things are popping up for her. And it's like, whoa, how? Like,
it's crazy.
And the one thing that people don't realize when you become a yoga teacher, it's like, this is why I created this space, because you graduate college, right? And you're like, oh, I have this piece of paper. Where's my job? You graduate teacher training. And like you said, with the overflow of of people coming out of YTTs, there's not enough studios to be like, oh, okay, we have a space for you to teach. We have a space for you to teach. And that's why I created the space, because we didn't have that community class. And then like, now all these people are being able to like have opportunities, and we're not confined by the red tape of being a corporate studio.
Oof.
I could do whatever the hell I want to do. Like, I had a
Amen to
Reiki
that.
session last week, and she was like, "You're the boss." I was like, "But we have meetings on Sundays." And she goes, "You're the boss. If you don't want a meeting on Sunday, then we just move it to another day. There's 6 other days. There's other opportunities with all the hours to figure out when it works for
Yeah, it's
our meetings are
hard
on
to.
Mondays, guys." Like, I didn't know I was the boss. Like, what?
I know. I do that same thing with this because, like, trying to figure out what type of recording schedule that I want. I'm so like, I need to be cognizant of everybody else's time. Blah blah blah. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's it's your shit.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
set the
Well,
date. Like,
she said, it's your party. If people don't want to come to your party, then make your own. And people
yes,
want to come to your party. So they'll make it work for their schedule. They'll put it in their calendar. It's in my calendar. This is her time. Like, this is our time. We are making this happen.
I love
If it
it.
didn't work, it didn't work. And if it doesn't work for you, it's not for you, right? There's
Yes,
all these other places, all these other flavors of teachers that you can make it work. And so everybody can eat. That's the part where I feel like people mess up on, is like,
yes.
everybody can eat. We don't have to be
No
picky and
starving over
choosy.
here.
Like, no, people are going to like you that like me, that like them. And then some people aren't going to vibe with any of them, you know? But that's
And
what
I
works.
take
That's
that
why it
into
makes the
teaching too.
community. Yeah.
Yep, I bring that right back into the yoga because I'll let people know, especially if that it's their first time taking a class with me, because I know that I teach differently than a lot of the spaces that I have taught in.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm the oddball, so I'm like, this is your first time experiencing me. Understand, you don't have to like it,
Yeah.
and it's not going to hurt my feelings because I might not be your jam, and that's okay.
Yes.
There's a bunch of other teachers that you can go to. But it's the same with this too. It's like you can choose to be a part of this if you want to or not. It's
Yes.
not going to hurt my feelings at all
No.
because I'm still going to do me. You're still going to
Yeah.
do you. And ain't nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
No. It's such an interesting, like, amazing feeling when you can recognize that, like, either way the world keeps turning, whether you
Exactly.
go, but I had a friend, I was trying to teach yin. I was like, I'm going to teach yin. And she comes to class. She literally walked out. And this is one of my best friends. She comes to all of my class, like, comes to a bunch of my classes. She supports Mind Your Mat 1000%, biggest fan. Like, she's an honorary teacher. Like, when she gets certified, she'll come teach with us. But she walked out of my class, and I was like, I'm her friend. I know it just wasn't her jam. The class was
Yeah.
not the vibe. She was not digging it. She said, "This is not what I came for." But any of my power flows, she's there for. And that's where it comes to, is like, I tell people in the beginning of our
Yeah.
class yesterday at our event, I was like, you have the opportunity to hear 5 different teachers today. Like, you'll see what each teacher teaches and where the vibe is and what you like, and you'll come to their classes. And that's kind of what this whole point of this event is, for you to, like, be open to different teachers, different
Yeah.
vendors, opportunities. And it was amazing to see, like, okay, everybody do their thing. Everybody excelled in doing their thing.
I love that. I think that's so cool to have that much variety within one class for people to, especially, for something that like you do, getting people that experience with all of the different folks all at once, because scheduling is an issue, and so may be teaching on a day that I can't make it. I want
Hmm.
to know what they teach like. And now I've got this one event. I can make it to that. Now I get to see it. That's dope as hell. I'm so mad that I couldn't make it yesterday too. I had another recording, so I'm like,
Yeah. It's okay. The thing is that we're trying to make sure that these things happen, to make it accessible, and, like, put, donations and open things to the community. So we're trying to make them happen quarterly. So, like, I'm hoping for the next one to happen
nice.
in, like, September, like, to also, like, start off, like, this school year type thing. So, like,
Yeah.
seeing what we can do to, like, kind of give back to the community in that way, like with the supplies and things like that. Trying to see. That's, now that I have like all the time to think of ideas, I'm like, oh, what can we do here? When can we do this? How do we do this? Like,
Yeah. So that actually puts me right into the next question I was going to ask. What's it been like managing this new journey in full-time entrepreneurship?
yeah. So, it's been a week now that I have been full time mind your mat, and the I some it's such a weird, like, when you know what you're doing every single day. Like in my job, I didn't know what I was doing, so like there was a lot, like, not that I didn't, but like we just didn't have work to do. So like I
Yeah.
wasn't really doing much during my days. I was working on mind your mat, but I was also making sure that I had this like obligation to my 9 to 5, where
Right.
now I have this release of stress on, like, all I have to think about is mind your mat, like all day, every day. And so like if I'm decide like, oh, I did all these, talked to all these people, did all this networking, the next day I sat and I'm like, I went to breakfast and then I came home and I took a nap and I was like, okay, like, like I realized that I can put in as much time as I need to, but
Yeah.
like taking time to also like be like, okay, like what's going to fill me to be able to make sure that I'm doing the best I can for my team, because
Mm-hmm.
like I am like managing people, and this is like not just, really like realizing that like I'm not only creating opportunities for myself but like for other people, and this is a platform that's really going to help like spread yoga in a way that's like authentic and genuine to the community.
Yeah. That juggling or figuring out what to do with your time portion is so difficult because I I quit my 9 to 5 um the first time back in 2019 and started teaching full time, but um the world looked different then because it was pre-COVID, and I had done all the front work of trying to find all these other places to teach, building up or trying to build up at least some type of presence for my private clientele that I was trying to, establish more of. And it was weird because so much of my time before had always been so structured. Like,
Mm-hmm.
wake up at this time, get ready at this time, hit the road to commute to work at this time, get to work through all of that time, wash, rinse, repeat,
Yeah.
basically. And
Yeah.
it was so weird to suddenly have all this time to work on something that not only was now my job, but something I was so passionate about because I didn't give a shit about my job.
Yeah.
Like, didn't give a
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
about it. But this is totally different. But then COVID happened and I lost everything. Like, all of the studios closing, all of the apartment complexes closing. Like, I wasn't teaching anywhere with the exception of one of the gyms that I was teaching at, transitioned to virtual. So I kept on with them, and then I started my own virtual thing. And thank goodness for the, what is that? The COVID relief. Oh my God. I don't know what I would have done
Yeah.
without that. But even still, that even allowed me more time to just be like, what the hell do I do with myself? I don't
Yeah.
know what to do. And I feel like I'm just arbitrarily working on things, but what is it getting towards? And then this happened, and I'm like, okay, finally, I have something to focus on. So I think what I'm trying to say is for those that walk into entrepreneurship, be fully rooted in what it is that you are going to be doing. Like, start the plan before you even quit the job. Have that
Yeah.
idea so that way when you do quit the job, you're not just sitting there like, well, shit, what's next? You still
Yeah.
have things that you can do, but it's also breaking that habit of, I'm supposed to be doing something right now.
Yeah.
Living that part of it, because it can be so much easier, but because we have been mm,
We've
socialized.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
trained to think
Yeah.
that
There you
you
go.
have to
That's a
go
good
to a
one.
job. Like you have to go to a job, you have to maintain this stability. And like I worked as a recruiter, so like I'm constantly helping people like get jobs. That's all I know is to get a job and to
Yeah.
like hire people. So like to not have a job, it's like, wait, hold on. But also to get paid for your ideas, like to, sometimes we're also sitting here like realizing like we work for other people because it's the comfortability and the stability of knowing that
Yeah.
this is what actual money that's going to come in because somebody's paying for these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Where people will pay for our ideas. You just got to know what you want to do, how you want to share it.
Yes, and put it out there. Because,
Yeah.
like, when you had made that mention of the day that you woke up later in the morning, took yourself to
Yeah.
have a meal, took a nap that day, that's still doing your work because you can't do none of this shit if you're not taking care of yourself. Because
Yeah.
it's real easy to get into that mindset of, I must do all of the things all of the time because that's what I've been accustomed to in my jobs before, is I am supposed to be productive through these hours. No, you don't. You got all the
Yeah.
time now. Do whatever you need to do. It's structured however you want to structure it. Still structured, just on your own terms.
Yeah.
It's
It
hard to grasp. And now that I'm
it
back into a
is.
job and I'm struggling with being unused to having time, or at least not
That's
having time to do the
yeah.
things.
That's I like I haven't worked like actually like worked in my job since like October. So I've been like in a weird limbo of space of doing what I needed to do. So I said if I had to go get another job, like I told like my partner is amazing into the fact that like he's like I got it. Like we're going to figure out like everything that we need to figure out. You focus on mind your mat and make that happen because I know that can happen. Like I know that we can make it to what you need it to be. And I was like, okay, like cool. Okay, let's go. Like this couldn't have happened at a better time and like
Yeah.
I feel like, there's never a right time. Like sometimes like I know I was talking with my friends and she was like, yeah, I lost my job. So like people that quit, they're like, okay, like I'm kind of like prepared to make this jump. The universe said, you know what?
Here
I'm
you
making a
go.
decision for you. Yeah. I've been asking my tarot and I'm reading it like, oh, you're on the right path. You're on the right path. And then it went,
Next thing you know.
and I went, okay, cool. That kind of hurt when I fell like into this,
Man.
but it's, I can't wait to see. Like, I had so many friends tell me, you know what Mind Your Mat would look like if you gave 100%, but you're working a 9 to 5. So you're only giving like 60, 40, like depending on the week.
Yeah.
Okay, well, they just unleashed. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. You're about to put 100% into this? Like, I have nothing else to do? Okay, like, let's see what we can really get going here. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, the universe is tricky, tricky,
It's
tricky.
crazy how it works because I've had waves of it where I quit that one, or my main job at the logistics company, so it wasn't yoga related, but what was it, middle of the quarantine period is when things started to kind of kick off with another studio that I was working at. And I got promoted into a position that paid me part time on top of the classes I was teaching. And that was my bread and butter for almost 2 years, between two different studios.
Wow.
And it was so time consuming for it being a part time kind of a thing because of all of the driving, all of the responsibilities, and all of this other stuff. And I didn't have any time to really work on this. And then in that period between transitioning between studios, I had all of this time where I'm like, okay, you haven't been able to really focus on yoga in black in a minute. Let's see what you can do now that you have time to do so.
Hmm.
And then I got a taste of what it could become because of the fact that I actually had the time. And I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do this. Let's keep going with this and make it happen. But then I got into that other studio, ended up getting promoted into that same position again. And I'm remembering that money was kind of good.
Mhm. Oh, yeah,
So I
yeah,
went for it. And then again, went into that same cycle of all
yeah,
of these responsibilities for someone else's, company
yeah,
and not mine. I'm like, I don't
yeah,
know how I feel about that. It didn't end up working out anyway. So it still went right back into that point where, all right, now you've got all this free time. now this thing is a podcast, because didn't see that coming.
You know,
Didn't see
it
that
that's the
coming
way
at
it
all.
happens. I feel like one of my teachers, Ashton, he always says, he's like, if it's in alignment for you, you'll notice if it's not, if it is or isn't in alignment, because it'll work or it
Mm-hmm.
won't work. And like, jobs have never worked, but like me recognizing that like I'm replaceable in a company, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't be replaceable for myself. Like I'm the only
Ooh,
person that comes to Mind Your Mat. I am Mind Your, you know what I mean? Like I've built
yes.
these community, I've built this teacher, so like who, I can't fire me. If I don't show up, I just don't show up. And like people who try to like, they'll carry it on for like a little bit, and they'll be like, well, what's happening? Like, what, you know, they may want it, they
Yeah.
may not. They'll be like, what the heck happened to her? But like, I could just, you know, yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
not,
Oof. You said some profound shit right there. Cause that is so true. I never really thought about it that way. Damn. You can't fire yourself.
no.
It's your thing.
Yeah. When I got laid off in COVID, I realized like the jobs that I've worked, I've been kind of like a bonus. Like they don't really need me. It's
Right.
helpful to have me, but they don't need me. Well, who needs me? I
Mm-hmm.
need me. So what can I do to keep me moving, you know? And that's when I realized like you have to have your own stuff. Not everybody, you know, some people it works, but like if you can, if it's in alignment for you, it'll work.
Yeah.
Like and you know, I said something, I was like, it's in alignment for me. Like people can be upset, but like highly favored, blessed to be able to do what I do and like continue to like figure out
Yes.
how to make it accessible for other people. Like there's no gatekeeping here. If I can eat, like that was the way my dad was. If I have somewhere to sleep, you have somewhere to sleep. If I'm
Oh
learning
yeah.
it, you're learning it. Like we're making sure everybody has wealth.
Oh, we have that in common too. That's the
Yeah.
whole point behind this thing. It's like, no, I'm sick of not having enough of us eating at the table. I'm making either a bigger table, or I'm just inviting everybody to the cookout, and we're
Yes.
just gonna turn it into a
Yes.
big old barbecue where everybody gets to
Okay.
eat, because I'm sick. I'm sick of it. So it was twofold, honestly, though, because I had spoken with this about on another episode, but being a yoga teacher can be really isolating too. So I wanted to create a community of teachers, because we don't
Yeah.
get to really fellowship with each other much at all. Because either it's like if you're at the studio, you teach your class, you don't see anybody else after that,
Yeah.
because you leave and you go on about your life, because you probably teach at 2 3 other studios, so you just wash rinse repeat on that same cycle. Who are the people that you work with? You don't know. You
Yes.
technically don't work with them.
Yeah.
You're the only one teaching your class. And I'm like, I'm sick of this. And I'm always the only minority in the space. And I'm like, I need something. So I'm like, build it,
Yes.
create it,
Yes.
make it happen.
Yes, absolutely. That's the one thing that like I feel like I'm really emphasizing with our team is like, guys, we need to figure out like how can we be there for each other. Yesterday, even
Yes.
Ashton, he was like, I love seeing us all together. Like there was like six of us at the event and there's probably like 12 teachers. So like half of us were there. And like he's like, I love seeing us all together. Like this, the way that the energy you feel when like the team is really bonding and has created this
Yes.
fellowship like in the space, no drama. We are like, you know, this is actually people doing in alignment with what they love and continuing to do it together. Like it's a it's something different to like actually have that in a safe space, like cultivate a
Yes.
safe space because it's hard to not taint. I could say that.
Oh, and you know what? My the way my mind is like a ping pong ball. But you mentioned Ashton's name, and it brought me back to something that you said, that Ashton said, was if it's not meant to work out, it won't. It
Yeah.
just won't. The things that are meant to happen will. And something that I want those of you out there that are also teachers, and even if as you're a practitioner too, studios might not be for you. Find community collectives that have open doors. Because again, yours, perfect example of that. I have come to realize in this conversation, I'm like, well, shit, yeah, studios aren't working for you, T. As an instructor and a practitioner, they're just not working for me like they used to. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there's all types of ways for me to experience the practice and share the practice. You don't have to be confined to those things. If you notice that they're not working out, go somewhere else, find something else, or create something else. Man, thank you,
Absolutely.
Ashton.
Yeah.
I gotta get Ashton on here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
I
That'd be amazing. Yes.
That'll be a fun conversation.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Oh yeah. He's so spicy. I love it.
I can't believe our time is almost up, which is wild, because I do this every time and I'm like, damn, we're already almost done.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop. But to be mindful of everyone's time, yours, mine, and everyone listening, I want to ask you to provide some advice to those that are walking into the practice brand new and those that are walking into teaching.
My advice is just to do what feels good. When you're walking into this practice, do what feels good. When you're walking into your training, do what feels good. Listen to and absorb what you're getting in class. Listen and absorb what you're getting. Like, take it in. If it feels good, keep it. If it doesn't, throw it away and do what feels good, because it's your practice and no one's there to judge you.
Well said. And that can go both ways.
Yeah.
Oof. All right. Where can the folks find you and Mind Your Mat? Both.
Yes. Okay. So I am Tori Guns with a Z and an exclamation point, exclamation mark. Oh, underscore. There you go. I was like, which one is it? It's not my password. It's my Instagram. And then Mind Your Mat is at Mind Your Mat Co. So please definitely follow Mind Your Mat for our schedule, for where we're teaching at. We have a lot of events coming up. I'm super excited. We are going to have a Mussels and Margaritas in North Dallas, kind of branch out a little bit. So definitely keep an eye out on our Instagram for upcoming events.
Mussels and Margaritas.
Yeah, in the colony. It's going to be a vibe. I'm excited.
I just had some margaritas yesterday, and I forget that I actually like margaritas. I used to think I was more of a daiquiri person.
Oh, I feel like when I drank, it was definitely margaritas. Daiquiris are too sweet. I don't like getting
and I like sweet. If it's
sweet,
not sweet,
the next day I don't like it. Yeah, no, whiskey 1000%. But sweet makes me like the next day I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. That's bad.
I feel that. I think it's because I deprive myself of so much sugar because I am addicted that I'm like, all right, if I'm drinking, that's where it's coming from.
Please.
Give me the fruity drinks, please. Thank you. Have a nice day. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. You had made mention of the schedule that you currently have for Mind Your Mat. Could you remind me again of what it is?
Yeah, so we teach Tuesdays at 7 p.m. at Four Corners Brewery, and then Thursdays 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 a.m. at Old City Park in the Cedars.
Yes, that's for all of you listening. That's the Dallas area. Go check it out. They've got a crap ton of teachers that are just doing awesome stuff, sound bath stuff, slow flows, power flows, regular old vinyasa, whatever you can think of. They got it all. So don't feel like you're not going to get your fix. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. I love it. Thank you, first and foremost, for everything that you're doing within the community. You have built something truly beautiful, and I have enjoyed watching it blossom and grow and watching your
Oh,
journey through it as well. It's something truly inspiring and keeps me going because I have my days where I'm like, what are you doing? Don't, it's just let it go. Just let it go. But I refuse because of folks like you continuing to keep on with your passions and the vision that you have and bringing something that's so much bigger than just our little selves to help people, because that's really all I ever want to do every day is just help people. So
yeah.
thank you for being an example out in this world for it, because we need it. We desperately need
Thank you.
it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time so much, and thank you for having me on. It's been great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to everyone that's been listening this season. If you feel like you're going to get any type of FOMO, don't, because this is literally the 30th episode. There are 29 others for you to go check out in the meantime, but we'll be back with fresh faces for you very, very soon. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see y'all on the next one. Bye.
Thanks, Danny.
Thanks for tuning in to the Yoga in Black podcast. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and this season. It would be so dope if you could leave a comment or a rating on whichever platform you're listening or watching from today, just to let us know exactly how we're doing. You can also help support the show by providing donations via Spotify, and the link is also on our website. If you are a Black yoga teacher or holistic wellness professional and would like to be on the show, join our wait list. Sign up is available on our website in the Let's Talk section. Here's where you can find us on our social media: Instagram at yoga.inblack and Facebook Yoga in Black. Head to www.yogainblack.net for all your YIB needs. Mama's taking a bit of a break. New episodes will be back in fall of 2023. And thanks again for all of your support, because this could not be done without you all. Have a good day.